Hello. So far, we have learned about different ego states that constitute our personality. We learned about types of transactions that are complementary, crossed, and ulterior, and how the pattern of ulterior transaction it leads to games. Let's try to understand further how transactional analysis conceptualizes maladaptive behavior. According to transactional analysis, the need to receive a stroke is a basic psychological hunger of an individual. These strokes could be verbal, for example, word of appreciation, praise. It could be non-verbal, like smile, stare, gestures, or even physical, like patting, hitting, etc. Strokes could be both positive as well as negative. Strokes received from parents in childhood are the most important in developing adaptive and maladaptive behavior. Different types of don't messages that child receives from parents, they are termed as injunctions in transactional analysis. For example, basic common injunctions are don't be, don't be who you are, don't think, don't feel, don't be close, don't belong, don't be child, etc. These messages, which are mainly non-verbal in nature, it stems from parents' own anxieties, frustration, unhappiness. Accepting them without challenge can lead to maladaptive pattern. These injunctions can have lifelong effect on the behavior. Let us try to understand this concept of injunction with the help of this case study. Raghu, who is 25-year-old adult from middle class family, his father was alcoholic. He remembers his father coming drunken every evening, nagging his mother, abusing him and his sister. He used to be very anxious at home. He remembers many such instances of festival time when the family is in the mood of celebration. However, father comes drunken and messed up everything. Raghu says, now his father is no more. He is settled in his life with his wife and son. However, whenever there is festival time, Raghu cannot participate wholeheartedly in celebration, but feels anxious to be happy. In this case, the injunction by Raghu's father is don't be happy, because of which Raghu is unable to enjoy happy moments in his life. He either feels anxious whether things will get messed up, or if he has few moments of happiness, he feels guilty for being happy. TA therapist focuses on challenging these injunctions and testing them objectively. According to Eric Berne, decisions about oneself, one's world and relationship to others are crystallized during first 5 years of life. Berne calls it as life script. Parental injunctions have tremendous effect on person's life script. Further, Eric Berne has formulated the idea of life position. Life position is the basic belief about the self and others. According to Berne, an individual chooses one of the 4 basic life positions. Let us try to understand these life positions. One of the life position is labeled as I am okay, you are not okay. These people have positive self image but see everyone else as an enemy who threatens their existence. People who display mistrust, suspicion are of this type. Second life position is I am not okay, you are okay. These people blame themselves for everything that goes wrong and shows self-downing attitude and behavior. They feel unworthy of positive feedback from others, but they perceive others as worthy and good people. Thus, depressive cognition is a good example of this. Third position is I am not okay, you are not okay. This life position is the most maladaptive condition. These people have poor self-image and harbor hostility and anger towards outside world. The most adaptive and healthy life position is I am okay, you are okay. These people have positive self-concept as well as positive image of others. They are involved in more game-free transactions. The goal of transactional analysis is to replace each of three maladaptive life positions with healthy I am okay, you are okay life position. In the counseling setup, we meet client with different life positions. Counselors can observe the way client express themselves and what they say about others and infer their life position. Here are few dialogues of the client. Try to guess their life position. See this statement. It is not my cup of tea. Ask someone else, they can do it. This dialogue shows that the self perception is that of inadequacy, while others are perceived as more competent than the self. So, this indicates I am not okay, you are okay life position. See this second statement. I have performed the best, but judges are partial. This world is very unfair. This dialogue shows that self concept is very high, but holds a negative perception of people and the world. Thus, this is the I am okay, you are not okay position. See third statement. Situation is horrible. I can't stand it. This shows perception about the people and the world is negative and self perception is also poor. Thus, this life position is I am not okay, you are not okay. And this fourth one, we can do things better when we are together. This shows trust in self as well as in others. Thus, this dialogue indicates I am okay, you are okay life position. You might have question in your mind that in our day to day life, we may transit from one life position to another according to situation. Then how to determine our life position? So remember that life position is the most frequent pattern of perception and interaction across various situations. So when the client shows repetitive pattern of characteristic perception, accordingly life position has to be determined. The goal of transactional analysis therapy is to help client achieve autonomy, that is assuming responsibility for one's own actions or feelings, taking control of one's life, planning and directing one's own destiny. Function of the therapist. TA therapist works as a catalyst. He acts like a teacher, trainer. TA therapist explains key concepts of transactional analysis, helps the client make effective use of all ego states and live a game free life with an intimate and rewarding relationship. TA therapist challenges client to discover and experiment with more effective ways of being. Let us discuss techniques. TA therapist uses different techniques in counseling setup. In the previous sessions, we have already discussed it. I will just recap them briefly. These techniques include structural analysis, that is analysis of egogram. It includes functional analysis describing maladaptive transactions that are crossed and ulterior in nature and help client to change them into complementary transactions. Then another technique is game analysis, that is used to identify games, and therapy works on developing game free transactions. And lastly, script analysis technique is used that focuses on correcting injunctions and adapting healthy life positions. Thus, this is the overview of well known system of psychotherapy transactional analysis. As this therapy is effective in improving interpersonal communication, it is widely used in group therapy. It is used in family counseling, couple counseling, marriage and interpersonal relationship counseling. Another use of TA is in organizational setup. It is used for conflict management, organizational development. TA is also used in a school setup with children and adolescents. Thus, TA as a system of psychotherapy has many strengths. The concepts, techniques used are very straightforward, playful and easy to understand. Because of that, lay persons can easily apply these concepts to their problems. People can gain deeper insight into their own behaviors, reactions, thoughts and emotions that they might not have been aware of before. Another asset of TA is it can be adapted to brief, structured and problem focused therapy, which is a strength in many settings. Of course, there are some limitations of TA as well. It requires a client to have good degree of self awareness and capacity to look at and notice their own behavior, emotions and thought patterns. Some client or people may not have this capacity. Similarly, TA requires the client to be willing and motivated to take ownership of their problems and behavior. So, TA may not be suitable for everyone. Also, cultural issues need to be understood by the therapist. For example, life script is highly influenced by cultural factors. Therefore, therapists need to be sensitive to those issues. To summarize, transactional analysis by Eric Berne is the system of psychotherapy that attempts to assess the function of different ego state within the individual. It attempts to develop insight into how childhood experiences such as strokes and injunctions lead to decision about life position and life script, and in social interactions how these factors influence transactions among people. It uses different techniques such as structural analysis, functional analysis, game analysis and script analysis to rectify maladaptive behavior pattern. Thus, this is one of the very popular and effective therapies used in the counseling. Thank you.